How to make an avoidant miss you without contact. The most powerful way to make an avoidant miss you is not by saying anything, not by proving your worth, not by reaching out. It is by doing absolutely nothing. And I mean nothing, not even indirect breadcrumbs. Because here's the truth. Avoidants do not miss people who keep chasing them. They miss people who disappear completely. They do not long for those who give them comfort on demand. They crave those who used to give connection, but no longer do. That absence doesn't feel like freedom to them. It feels like something they cannot name, but it gnaws at them slowly. That's what we're going to unpack in today's video. The psychological blueprint for how to make an avoidant miss you without ever contacting them. This is not about playing games. It's about learning emotional strategy, understanding avoidance at its core, and stepping into your power by using silence, self-focus, and energetic withdrawal, not manipulation. To begin with, you need to understand the avoidant brain is wired to feel overwhelmed by closeness. They crave intimacy on a subconscious level, but the moment they start to get it, their nervous system signals danger. The walls go up. So, when you try to reach out, clarify, chase, or seek connection, they don't feel appreciation, they feel suffocated. And the irony? When you stop, truly stop, something unexpected happens. They start to feel your absence, and with that, a kind of confusion. Because now the threat of closeness is gone, and all that remains is space, quiet, unfamiliar, unsettling space. That space is your power. But most people sabotage this process. They send the just checking in text. They post something obviously curated to get a reaction. They unblock for one day, hoping for a ping. And all of that screams one message to the avoidant: you're still safe. I haven't really left. That's not how you make someone miss you. That's how you feed avoidance. If you want an avoidant to miss you, you have to disappear from their radar entirely. No contact means no texts, no social media signals, no friends delivering news about you. Your silence has to feel like the end of a pattern. Because avoidants don't miss people, they miss patterns. When the person who always softened first no longer shows up, when the emotional safety net vanishes, it creates a gap. And humans, even avoidants, feel the pain of that gap. But here's the trick. Avoidants feel that pain later than others. Much later. While you're crying during week 1, they might be relieved. While you're questioning yourself in week 3, they're busy distracting themselves. But in week 5 or week 6, when nothing is pulling them back, that's when the quiet becomes deafening. That's when their mind starts to play the movie of what once was. Now let's talk about energy. Because this is not just about silence, it is about energetic detachment. There is a difference between no contact and obsessive waiting in silence. If you've gone silent, but you're checking their story every day, thinking about them every hour, waiting for them to miss you, then you're still energetically present. They may not see you, but they can feel that you haven't really gone. Avoidants are hypersensitive to emotional pressure. So even if your phone is silent, your energy may still be chasing them. True no contact is when your inner world starts to shift. You stop performing grief for an audience of one. You start focusing your attention elsewhere. You no longer wait, you live. You rebuild. You redirect. And that's when something changes, not just in you, but in them. This is where the avoidant begins to feel something they rarely let themselves feel. Regret. Not the loud, obvious kind. The subtle kind that creeps in when they see something that reminds them of you. A song. A memory. A moment. Suddenly, they notice the void. And because they are not used to missing people, because their whole identity is built on self-sufficiency, missing you becomes confusing. But confusion breeds curiosity. And curiosity is the first crack in avoidance. It might start with them checking your profile, then maybe asking a mutual friend about you. But remember, if they come back, it won't be dramatic. Avoidance tests the water. They don't dive in. They'll breadcrumb, send a casual meme. A neutral, How have you been? What you do next determines everything. When they reach out, your reaction should never be emotionally explosive or overly grateful. If you rush in too fast, you reset the old pattern. They push, you pull. Instead, respond with calm, grounded detachment. Be warm but not needy. Be kind but not available. Let them feel that the emotional labor now belongs to them. Because avoidants do not change through lectures. They change when they start to want the closeness that used to scare them. And for that to happen, they must feel what life is like without you. Not just for a few days, long enough to miss not only your presence, but your energy, your consistency, your emotional grounding. Now, here's something very important. Making an avoidant miss, you should never be the goal of your healing. It should be a byproduct of your return to self. The moment your focus shifts from how do I make them feel my absence to how do I reclaim my own presence, everything changes. You become emotionally magnetic, not because you're trying, but because you're growing. Avoidants are drawn to people who are deeply anchored, not anxiously reaching. They're intrigued by mystery, not emotional chaos. So when you stop posting for their eyes, stop hoping for a reaction, stop molding yourself to fit their wounds, you become the very thing they fear and crave the most. Someone who no longer needs them, but could still choose them. What hurts the avoidant most is not your word sit, is your absence without explanation. Because when you stop engaging in the old emotional loop, they don't know where they stand anymore. And that's terrifying. Remember, avoidants control with distance. When you mirror that distance, they lose control. But do not do this to punish them. Do it because you are done living in a dynamic where only one person shows up fully. Do it because you are not available for half love. Do it because you deserve a connection that does not disappear the moment it deepens. So how do you make an avoidant miss you without contact? You stop being available in every way. You silence your phone, but more importantly, you silence your energetic chase. You remove yourself from their emotional economy. You stop trying to remind them of who you were. Instead, you become someone new, someone they never saw coming. In that absence, that silence, that evolution, they will feel it long after your last word. Avoidants are slow to feel, but they do feel. And when they do, they remember not just you, but how safe, how deep, how real the connection felt before their fear took the wheel. But by the time they remember, let it be too late for the old version of you. Let them meet someone new, someone who no longer runs in circles to be enough for someone who fears closeness. Let them miss the version of you they took for granted, because that version, she's not coming back.